All right, hey, today on McRib and Me, I've got Matt Leigh, a Grammy Award-winning producer here in Nashville, and I'm really excited to hear some of his stories. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
No, we're so glad to have you, and even more exciting, I also heard that you've never had a McRib.
I've never had a McRib in the 30-plus years I've been on this planet.
Yes. Well, that's going to make it all the more exciting. And I know you have been in Nashville producing for quite a while, and we'll start with the McRib, and then we'll get into your story. And
Okay.
I'd love to hear what you've got up to.
You got ass for days, you got swag for weeks, you got confidence in your speak. They overdose and your overload, so I'm singing bon appetit. Let's go. Give it a don't know.
Okay, so I got a McRib for you here,
Thank you.
and a Coke. Welcome to use that as well. So it's kind of tradition on the show for us to sort of, open the boxes together here and do
Sure.
the reveal on the McRib. What do you think right there? McRib and Me with Matt Leigh. All right, so first reaction. Obviously, you've probably seen pictures of the McRib, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So take a look in the box there and tell me, what's kind of exciting you there?
Well, first of all, I remember the McRib from when the live-action Flintstones movie came out.
Yeah.
So that's when I, going back through my Rolodex of memories, that's when I first remember it. But also being from the barbecue capital of the world in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, right.
I see the barbecue sauce and I get excited.
I love that.
I like the McDonald's barbecue sauce on their nuggets and on their French fries. So if it's the same sauce, I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it on this too.
That's a great question. I'm gonna have to do some research. I don't know if they use the same sauce. I feel, to me, it tastes similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that I know I say this in a lot of shows, but the same chef that created the McRib also created the McNugget before that.
Right.
Yes.
I think
so,
isn't there a documentary on the McRib?
There, gosh, this is another guy. I might have to look.
I'm pretty sure there is, because I think I learned that on that documentary. I wish I could remember if it was a YouTube thing or a Netflix thing.
I'm gonna have to search this up.
But there's definitely a story out there that talks about the creation of, I'm pretty sure it's Netflix. It's like the creation of some of our favorite foods. Yeah. And nostalgia things.
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
yeah. Well, we all know what I'm doing tonight. I'm getting on Netflix right there. That's all I can say. So, and that's something that definitely I love about the McRib and McDonald's. And again, I say this a lot. McDonald's was that first restaurant that was close enough in my neighborhood for me to ride my BMX bike to, without my parents having to take me. And that was, I'm a kid of the 70s and the 80s. So McRib came out in 81, and all that happened kind of all at the same time. So I think it's important that we remember these kinds of things from our childhood or through our life, and the fact that, today, look, I love to be health conscious, and I know a lot of us do, but there's nothing wrong with having a little fun, having some fun food, hitting McDonald's, getting a McRib, getting a little sauce on your hands, and just making your brain happy.
Yeah.
And then maybe it reminds me a lot of music where you have a familiar sandwich and it brings back memories, just like when you hear a great song that you maybe heard was your favorite in high school, right?
Sure.
And
sure.
So, all right, so let's do a first bite.
All right.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right.
Now here's the question: do you go sauce side first, or do you go veggie side first? Let's go with the veggie side.
That's dealer's choice right there. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
love
it.
that.
Yeah.
I can't ask for more than that, right? Right there. I
like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
As an avid McDonald's fan, I'm probably one of those few people that will admit to being a fan of McDonald's. That's kind of one of those things. Like,
yeah.
Like I also like Kenny G. I'm careful who I tell that to as well.
I love this. You're being vulnerable on McRib and Me here.
Well, he actually just put out a new documentary on HBO. Which is really good. But anyway, so those two things, you got to be careful who you say. I like McDonald's. I like Kenny G.
It's so true, and again, that's what part of the show is. We're here to celebrate those things that maybe we don't share with everybody. We're going to share them with the world on McRib and Me. We love McDonald's, and that's okay, because you know what, my brain's happy. when I have a McDonald's sandwich.
Me too.
Right? It looks like you're enjoying it.
I'm liking it, yeah.
And the barbecue sauce, does it live up to a Kansas City expectation?
No, but
that's okay.
But that's okay. When, it lives up to McDonald's barbecue sauce expectations.
Yeah.
And I like their barbecue sauce.
Okay.
So I and I like McDonald's barbecue sauce.
Yes.
So I will eat this and enjoy it thoroughly. It's I'm very, I don't want to say picky. I love food.
Yes. Okay.
And I think part of the problem is people sometimes, and I'm sure you've maybe dealt with this on the show, but a lot of times people's expectations aren't adjusted for the situation.
Yes, I agree.
I wouldn't, in my right mind, compare this to anything in Kansas City because it's not the same.
Right. It wasn't designed to compete on that level.
Exactly.
Really. Yeah. It competes in the fast food space that is McDonald's, which I think is a whole nother art form, right? From preparing fine barbecue to, to be able to prepare meals for people, millions a day, repeatedly for years and years. And even a sandwich like McRib, right? That thing, they take it away. And then it always comes back, but it always it's that same great taste. The consistency is always there. And that's what I love about McDonald's.
Sure.
Is when you're doing that road trip, you see the Golden Arches, and you're pulling off, it's a consistent thing. And It's always that same greatness, right?
Exactly. And that's, in my opinion, that's the sign of a great chain.
Yes.
Whether it's a fast food restaurant, fast casual, or even a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah.
So if your expectations, you get those expectations every time you go to that restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's the sign of a successful chain.
Yeah. So since you're a barbecue guy from Kansas City, let's just go outside the spectrum and say, what's one of your favorite barbecues that's not a McDonald's or not a McRib? Like, what ranks up there for Matt?
Yeah. Well, in Kansas City, the interesting thing is that a lot of the tourist traps are also the places that a lot of the locals like to go.
Ah.
We're not like some cities where, we keep
you hide the good stuff.
We keep our things secret.
Yeah.
That we want to share that with outsiders that maybe aren't from Kansas City or haven't been there before. But personally, I really love Gates Barbecue.
Okay.
It's an experience when you go in there. You order at a counter, and the people that work there, they're very friendly. But if you go in there not having been there before, know what to expect. I don't want to say they berate you, but they will ask you repeatedly from the line what you're going to have, and they say, "How may I help you?" And that's kind of become their signature. I had a good buddy. I lived in San Diego for a few years.
Okay.
And he was going to Kansas City to visit. And I said, "You need to go to Gates Barbecue." I didn't tell him anything else. And so
just go.
He goes in there, and I didn't warn him. You need to be ready to order. You start looking at the menu once you get in there. And so he starts getting up there close to ordering time, and they start going, "Hi, may I help you? Hi, may I help you?" And they'll keep asking you. And
They're hammering you, so you're...
They will.
Yeah.
And if you don't give your answer or your order right away, they'll go to the person
they'll
behind
skip
you. Yeah, they'll skip you.
That's amazing.
So he comes back from this trip, and he's like, "I can't believe you didn't tell me to be prepared for that." He's like, "The guy behind me had to order for me, so I knew, what to get."
Yeah.
So that's always fun to send the unsuspecting, kind of a trial by fire.
Yeah, give them a little surprise. That's okay. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. No, I love that. And you said you were in San Diego for a while. Mm-hmm. And how long have you been in Nashville?
I've been here since 2010.
Okay, great. And let's dig into your career. Tell me about your road to Nashville and in music and things. Let's start with that.
Sure. Yeah, so I've been playing music since I was a little kid. Started out with piano lessons and then kind of shifted to the guitar and the bass guitar and played all through my developmental years and was really fortunate to honestly work as a professional musician while I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
You know, all my friends were working at McDonald's. You know, they were working there 30, 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
After school, I would play one gig on a Friday night and make the same amount of money as they were, you know, working full-time jobs.
And in high school, you're living high.
Oh yeah, it was great. It was great. So, you know, but the beauty of that was being able to learn kind of the etiquette of going to a gig, getting hired to go play with a group of people you've never met before.
Yeah, because we always say, right, a lot of it in Nashville and working in the music is about being a great hang. And I'm sure you've learned that stuff from gigging at an early age, and that goes so far in any creative environment.
Certainly, and I'm, you know, I didn't learn that completely on my own. I was really fortunate to have great instructors and teachers that would share some of that.
Yeah.
You know, here's how you need to act, here's what you should expect, but also enough to where they weren't going to tell me everything. You know, they were going to let me learn some of it the hard way or the easy way.
Yeah, but all valuable lessons. Yes.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So fast forward a couple years, learned through, it's kind of by accident. I started, just learned kind of by accident that I really loved music production. It was kind of the first time in my life that I felt like this is what I've been called to do.
Yeah.
You know, this is what God put me on earth to do, is to help others make the best music that they can.
Yeah.
And from that point forward, it's been an unhealthy obsession, if you want to call it that. You know?
No, that's a good obsession.
It's great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah.
But since then, you know, this is now 15, 20 years ago that we're talking. I have devoted my life to constantly be learning. That's the thing I love about the music industry and especially the creative side of it, is you can constantly learn new things. And so I've devoted my time to learn as much as I can and, you know, really try to focus on discovering that secret of how do you make the perfect record.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, my lifelong goal and journey is how do you make the perfect record?
Yeah. What is let's go outside of that. Someone that's inspired you, who made maybe what you might consider a perfect record. What's an example there or two?
There's a lot of people that have made so much great music over the years. I'm a big David Foster fan.
Oh yeah. Yes.
I love all of the work he's done.
Yes.
You know, especially with Michael Bublé.
Yeah.
You know, some of that work, and obviously his early stuff, Earth, Wind and Fire, and Chicago. I mean, what's not to love?
Yeah, I mean, the line is long of great stuff from David Foster.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
I'm also, you know, I'm an avid listener of music, so I really love great and well-produced albums. There are some that I don't necessarily remember who produced them, but one of my favorites is Sting's 10 Summoners Tales.
Oh yeah, sure. I remember that record. Yeah.
That to me this is what a highly effective production sounds like.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, from the great songwriting to the great musicianship.
Yeah, like I think Vinnie Colaiuta was on drums on that.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's kind of a who's who of the Los Angeles session musicians at the time. I think I would have to go double check this, but I think, you know, being a bass player, guys like Lee Sklar and Nathan East, two guys that I've both met actually.
Oh, really?
Through working in Nashville, believe it or not.
Amazing.
And they're the nicest guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all of my heroes, I think, played on that record. Guitar players, drummers, bass players, keyboard, you know, you name it.
Yeah, it had the full menu of greatness for something that you love.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. And
sometimes I can't be strong on my own, and I've been living to
what brought you to Nashville?
So I actually moved to Nashville to go to grad school at Middle Tennessee State University.
Sure. Yeah.
So they have a great audio production program. While I was in San Diego, I had kind of maximized my opportunities out there. It's not really the music hub that you go 2 hours north to Los Angeles.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where all the big opportunities are.
Yeah.
And I had done a lot of work in project studios, things that had kind of a smaller technical footprint. And so I decided I wanted to bridge the gap between working in a project studio and working on a large format console in a big, beautiful space like this.
Yeah.
Or, a lot of the other great studios around Nashville.
Yeah.
And I felt that going to grad school would be the best way to do that in a, kind of a condensed amount of time while still advancing my academic career.
Yes.
So great, had a great time at MTSU. While I was there, I did a lot of odd jobs. So some that were audio related, some that weren't.
What was your craziest non-audio related job?
At one point, I worked at Chipotle as a cashier.
All right.
This is after I graduated. So this was like, the parents like, are you sure the music industry is what you want to do?
Yeah, is this going to work out?
Yeah,
Is this gonna work
Are
out?
you sure this is what you want to do? But I'd work as a cashier during the day. And then at night, I would go valet cars for one of the local valet companies.
Nice.
And I would do that every day I only did that luckily for about 6 months. But
you were chasing the dream. Yeah.
I was.
And that's what is amazing, and I love about, the story that you're telling in that is it's so exciting here. McRib and me, we're excited from Guest Hall. We're based out of Nashville, so we get a lot of the great Nashville stories. Mm-hmm. And people really come here, and perseverance to go for what you really want can result in that great dream coming true.
Sure.
I can see that it's happening for you. I mean, obviously, I'm sitting next to a Grammy Award winning producer here.
So I was really fortunate to meet a guy named John Shermer.
Okay.
I think he now works at a I think he works at DCR,
Okay.
which is a live sound
In town
rental company here in Nashville.
Okay.
Yep. And it was just one of those things where I got the urge, if you will, or the idea, like, I'm going to bother that guy until he tells me to get lost. At the time, he was working with Keb Mo, the
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Grammy-winning blues
Yes.
artist who's incredible. I
Absolutely.
love Kevin. He's not only a great artist, but one of the nicest human beings you've ever met.
Yeah, I haven't met him, but I've heard lots of good stories about Kevin from some people here at Ocean Way.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. So John finally, I'm bugging him month after month, like, hey, let's grab lunch. I'd love to find out what you're doing. And sent him an email one morning, get a call from him later that afternoon, early evening, and he says, what are you doing tomorrow? And, well, nothing. I don't remember what I had planned, but I probably had something, but whatever you need, I'm there.
Yeah.
And so he had me come in and assist on a session he was doing with Kevin, with
God.
Keb Mo. And so it went really well, as good as it possibly could. And, we kind of jumped past how can I help you out? I can help you out if I can. That runaround that we do here in Nashville
Yeah.
a lot. But it went really great. And, at that moment, it was like, okay, things are looking promising here.
Yeah.
And ended up working with them for a couple of years. Went on a few small tours with them. Worked in the studio. Did
Oh
some
wow,
shows.
really led to some stuff.
Yeah. Some stuff here around Nashville. And so that opportunity honestly set me up for the trajectory that my career is now on.
Amazing.
Fast forward a couple years, John was no longer working with Keb Mo, and he was now working for a live sound company called Morris.
Sure. Yep.
Morris Light
Yep.
and Sound.
Yep.
And their owner, Dale Morris, owned the tracking room.
Oh yeah.
And so they were in the process of combining a lot of Dale's different business assets. And one of the things that they were doing was taking the tracking room and making it an official division of their light and sound company. And so John, at the time, he was the general manager. He told my boss, hey, I think Matt might be a good fit for the studio manager position
Oh, at tracking room.
at the tracking room.
Another great room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hopefully somebody,
Yeah.
hopefully the new owners will decide to keep it running as a studio.
Yeah.
Please keep it running as a studio.
It's a little limbo right now, but
Yeah.
yeah, beautiful room.
Beautiful room.
Yeah.
And so John, he called me up beforehand and he said, hey, he asked me what I was doing because I hadn't talked to him in, probably 6 months or so. And he said, I know you've never been a studio manager before. He's like, I need you to do a bunch of research on it. I'm going to put your name in the hat for this job. He's like, you really need to impress the owner, or, you need to impress the president of the company so that your name will be the one that he chooses.
Yeah.
So I spent the next couple weeks before my interview. What does a studio manager do? And the internet has a lot of different opinions on what a good studio manager does. But I guess I had the fewest hangups out of any of the other people that they interviewed. I don't even know if they interviewed anybody else. I presume they did.
Yeah.
But ended up getting the job. This was at the start of 2015.
Okay.
And so the next 5 years were kind of a blur.
Yeah. So you made it as studio manager, and then boom, it was sessions and studio. I mean, that's a lot was moving on through that studio through those years for sure.
It was, but what I didn't know at the time when I took the job is that it was kind of at a low point in its history.
Oh, really?
It had kind of been mismanaged and kind of run into the ground.
Yeah.
Just for various reasons. It was always something Dale just kind of threw money at.
Yeah.
And didn't really, there wasn't any kind of, I guess, business backing like they had once Morris took over. And so we didn't realize this, but it was one of those studios that people in Nashville said, I'm never working there again.
Oh, no.
So
this is as you're coming in.
This is as I'm coming in. I didn't
studio
know,
manager,
and I
you
didn't
don't know this.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay, that's setting the table here.
Right. So Morris was really gracious, and they put in some money to renovate all the common areas. The studio was still as beautiful as it was the day it opened in the 90s.
Yeah.
But the common areas needed some love.
Yeah.
So renovated the studio, and then we were kind of off to the races. Our first client was Taylor Swift.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Right? I mean.
So how's that for, hey, welcome to the music industry. Oh, by the way, you've never managed a studio before, so good luck figuring that out. Oh, and also, by the way, the world's biggest pop star is coming in here for 6 weeks to do rehearsals. Good luck.
I can't even imagine what must have gone through your head when you heard that was going to be the first artist through there. That's a really incredible story.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift people and her crew love them to death. They took myself and my coworker, Bryce Roberts, who's another Grammy-nominated engineer. Actually, I think he's won a Grammy. But Bryce Roberts here in Nashville, another great engineer.
Okay.
They took us both under their wings and treated us like part of their crew and part of their organization.
Wow.
And it made that transition into this new space. Because Bryce was new too. He had started like a month before I did.
Uh-huh.
So we're two, I don't want to say super green,
Yeah.
but newbies to this studio.
Yeah. And here's again, Taylor Swift.
Right.
Is in your building.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that was great. It was a really great way to start off on a good foot, and luckily we didn't screw anything up too bad.
Was she there to cut a whole album or a record or?
They were actually there to rehearse for her tour.
Okay.
So that was right before the 1989 tour.
Oh, cool.
And so I think we did a decent job because she came back for each subsequent tour while the studio was still open.
Really? That's amazing.
So we were really excited about that.
Yeah, so it was a long-term relationship then.
It was.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of those early victories that really helped kind of set the tone and set the stage for that place. But we busted our asses for the next 2 or 3 years and finally saw a turnaround in the clientele that was starting to come back. People that said, we're never recording there again. Please come back. We'll give you a day for free, or we'll make sure, we'll triple check everything to make sure it works, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And producers started coming back, artists started coming back, and they were really happy with how the studio was being run and their experience as a client and as a customer. And so to us, that was the biggest victory of
that's huge.
We're bringing this place back. And we had everybody from obviously Taylor Swift, but Kenny Chesney and Willie Nelson and Nathan East
Yeah.
and Deep Purple
Oh my gosh.
and, you know, just all these huge names that people, you know, idolized as a kid.
Yeah.
And was a fan of.
Did you still have pinch me moments on that stuff?
There's one I got to tell you.
Okay,
that,
all right.
The biggest pinch me moment was Deep Purple's in the studio,
Okay.
being produced by Bob Ezrin,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
mega producer,
Right,
you know,
right.
Alice Cooper,
Yeah.
Kiss,
Right.
Pink Floyd,
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne, you know, you
The
name
list.
it.
Another list that just kind of goes on through greatness.
Exactly. And I get word that they're going to recut Smoke on the Water
Oh my gosh.
for
right.
licensing purposes. And so I beg Bob. I'm like, Bob, I'm gonna fangirl out here for a second, but please let me sit in
Yeah.
when you all are cutting Smoke on the Water. Like, I'll give you 10% off today's rate or 20%, whatever it is, like
Yeah.
whatever it takes. Like, please let me sit
Yeah.
in on this. And he's like, okay, yeah. And you know, again, the etiquette thing, I knew to sit in there and shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Not say a peep. You wouldn't know. You don't even know I'm there.
Yeah. Fly on the wall.
Fly on the wall.
Yeah.
3 of the original members that cut the song, or that recorded the song the first time around, are playing on it this time around.
Uh huh.
And then on top of that, you have Steve Morse,
Oh gosh.
Dixie Dregs, you know, a bunch of other big progressive rock bands. I'm a big progressive rock fan.
Okay.
And then Don Airey. He's a keyboard player, another metal rock and roll legend.
Okay.
Ozzy Osbourne, Rainbow, Judas Priest. I mean, all these huge names.
Yeah.
And so it's like
It's all
rock
going
and
down
roll-
right there in front of you.
Yeah, rock and roll royalty.
Yeah.
So they kick in, da, 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 and then that bass line comes in, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And every hair on my body was standing straight up, and it's like, I cannot believe I'm sitting here. You know, because that's the first song I ever learned on guitar.
Yeah.
Like most people.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You know, you learn.
Yeah.
You learn that song, and then you learn Crazy Train, and then you learn,
Yeah.
you know, something else. I don't know what. I didn't last on guitar very long, but
Yeah. Yeah.
but enough to learn
That
Smoke
one,
on the
right?
Water.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's because it's a staple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just like one of those. I literally cannot believe I'm sitting here getting to watch this right now, getting to listen to this beautiful, gorgeous music, and like I've made it. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
if nothing else ever happens for me, like this is worth all the long hours and all the struggles and everything to get to this point.
Yeah.
So that was incredible.
It really is amazing to have those moments, and it's neat that those happen, and they always kind of hit you by surprise. A very kind of a similar thing happened to me here at Ocean Way once. Alice Cooper was here to cut a record, and I mean, I am. You know, in high school, people used to call me Ronno because I loved U2 so much.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and Larry Mullen Jr. cut the drums on that record. The drummer from U2, right?
Uh-huh.
And I came walking through the control room, and there's Larry Mullen Jr. sitting on the couch in the control room, and I'm just thinking, gosh, you know, from high school, of all the times that I just wanted to be in a band, wanted to be like U2, and I had the posters all in my room, and there's this guy in front of me that, you know, I idolized that group for years at that point. And the feeling that it gives you when those things happen is amazing.
Oh yeah.
You like kind of time stops, right? And you're just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy life.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
that's
If my 14-year-old self knew
Yes.
what I'm doing right now, they would be ecstatic, or you know, whatever,
Yeah.
Go berserk, whatever
Yeah.
you want to say.
Yeah, it's really it's almost hard to describe that. It's like just time stops for a minute, and yeah,
Sure.
you can't believe it. But so we're at the tracking room, we're doing our thing there, and you're propelling business, getting great relationships. You see Smoke on the Water get cut. What's happening next?
Yeah. So just a lot of late nights, a lot of great sessions, big time artists, people just starting out. One of the big producers that we kind of courted to hopefully come back and work there was Buddy Cannon.
Okay, yeah,
And so he had ties to Morris because Kenny Chesney was he had ties to Morris because Dale Morris was Kenny Chesney's manager.
Oh, okay. Got
And
it.
so that was kind of an easier, I don't want to say easy, but
Yeah.
an easier connection to say, hey, please come back and try this out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Buddy Cannon is a very busy man, another legendary producer.
Yes.
And after several sessions, he decided he's going to bring Willie by.
Oh, wow.
He's going to bring Willie Nelson by.
All right. That's
Which
pretty
is-
cool.
Which is really cool. So Willie started cutting some of his records there, and I got to assist on one of Willie's sessions. Well,
another pinch me moment. I
another
assume?
pinch me. Oh, certainly,
Yeah, right.
yeah, certainly. And like I love working with big time artists. They're usually the nicest people,
Yes.
and they're usually the most humble and the most gracious.
Yeah.
But honestly, I usually get more excited about the producers and the engineers and the musicians.
Yeah, and it comes with what you're into too.
It certainly
for
does.
sure. Yeah,
It certainly
yeah.
does.
I know. I have some sort of things. I've always been a big Rick Rubin fan.
Oh, me too.
Oh man, like from the the Cult Electric. Of course, Beastie Boys, Cult Electric.
Sure.
I mean, in my opinion, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic is a pinnacle moment for their career.
Sure.
And I know a lot of that had to do with Rick Rubin's production on that record, but yeah, the producer. We geek out on the producers.
We geek out on the producers, and Buddy Cannon actually wrote or co-wrote a song with a guy named Vern Gosdin.
Okay.
He was a country star back, I believe, in the 70s and 80s. He wrote a song called Set 'Em Up Joe, and that was one that my dad loved listening to.
Oh, really?
So, after that day working with Buddy, I called my dad up and said, Dad, you're not going to believe this. I worked with the guy that wrote Set 'Em Up Joe. And so he thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, so now he's thinking, okay, this is working out for you.
Yeah, right.
Maybe when you were at Chipotle as a cashier, he was a little concerned, but now he's like, oh, this is
This
working
thing
out.
might work,
Yeah.
It looks like it's turning around maybe
Yeah.
a little bit, but yeah. So fast forward, Grammys roll around.
Yeah.
Willie's album that I was a part of, small part of, is up for a Grammy,
Okay.
and so
How do you feel when you hear that a record you worked on is up for a Grammy?
the fact that it's nominated is incredible.
Right.
I was really fortunate to work on Natalie Grant's record, B1.
Okay.
Back from, I guess, 2015, or it was released in 2015, and that one we ended up losing to, or B1 was nominated for a Grammy, and we ended up not winning, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Still a great honor to
Yeah,
be
oh gosh,
to be
yeah.
nominated and to be able to say, the work that I've contributed to has been recognized by my peers.
Yeah.
So Willie's album "Ride Me Back Home" is up for a Grammy, I'm sorry, the song "Ride Me Back Home" is up for a Grammy.
Okay.
And go and look at the category, and it's like, oh crap, we're up against a bunch of heavy hitters.
Okay, like who?
Blake Shelton's "God's
yeah.
Country."
Oh gosh, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and that I was like, oh, Blake's got it.
Yeah.
He's a megastar on The Voice. He's a great singer.
Yeah. He's
great,
got it all.
Great contributor to Nashville.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
heard nothing but great things about him.
Cuts a
And
lot of records at Ocean Way.
He does. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, if we're gonna lose, I'm okay losing to Blake Shelton.
Yeah, you're in good company.
Yeah, we're
all the way around.
Right. And so I didn't think anything of it. I voted for Willie,
Right.
and voted for the team and everything. But then, just kind of put that in the back of my head, and then Grammys roll around. I don't even watch them. I think I was working that night or had something else going on. I honestly don't recall. And then the next morning, I get a text from Bryce, my coworker. He goes, "Congrats on the Grammy." And I go, "What are you talking about?"
You
He
didn't
goes,
even know?
I didn't even know. I didn't even look.
Yeah.
I just assumed, and making an ass out of me.
Right.
Everybody else.
It
but
happens. It happens.
I just figured that "God's Country," that was a great song.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just figured that one was going to win because it
Yeah.
was everywhere.
Yeah.
And luckily the music gods were smiling down favor, and Willie ended up winning, and sure enough, checked it out. I was like, holy crap, this is a really cool feeling.
What a dream come true, right?
So this is 2020.
Okay.
Right before COVID.
Ah, so this is pretty recent, just a year or two
Pretty recent,
ago,
yeah, just about a year and a half ago, a year and a half ago. But that same year, the Kansas City Chiefs,
Yeah.
the NFL team, are in the Super Bowl.
Ah,
So I find out I win a Grammy on like the second. I can't remember. Actually, I think they were earlier. All I know is about 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, I found out that we won.
yeah.
Then one of my dad's lifelong bucket lists is to go to a Super Bowl. So him, two of his friends, and their two sons, and myself
Yep.
all went down to Miami to
And
go
you went to the
watch
Super Bowl.
the Chiefs play in the Super Bowl.
Oh, awesome.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
But, it's like riding high, man, 2020.
Yeah.
Because the Chiefs ended up winning.
Yep, right.
Comeback
Yep,
victory.
Yep.
And it's like, man, 2020 is going to be the year.
Little did we all know, right?
Yeah, oh, man. Again, there I go assuming and
Yeah,
making
yeah.
an ass out of everybody.
It's
But-
funny. I got to remember, I remember coming into 2020 for whatever reason being very optimistic about just the landscape of everything. And then all that happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really took everybody by surprise. But what a cool kind of sync of events right there.
Sure.
And how does it feel to have that Grammy on? Where do you keep your Grammy?
I have it. So if you're not one of the primary artists or songwriters
Yeah.
or usually producers, they give you a certificate.
Yeah. Okay.
which-
Yeah.
Which is still great. It's
All right.
still.
Well, let's start that over just so I keep that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So tell me about your Grammy. What do you get as a winner or part of a winning crew? I don't even know. Of course, I've never won a Grammy. I'm only envious.
One of these
those
days.
who have.
One
One
of
of
these
these
days
days,
you will,
maybe
yes. Never
for
say
production on McRib and Me, I've won a Grammy, right? Yeah. So tell me.
Yeah. So depending on your role
Okay.
on that project, most of the people will just get a certificate that says they contributed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. And I see those around the studios in Nashville, right? Yeah. Gorgeous piece.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
They do make you pay for it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it has the gold foil and everything,
Yeah.
so it's worth it, and
Yeah.
the money goes to to a good organization. But it's hanging on my wall right when you walk in. I live in a condo, so
Okay.
it's pretty small, but
It's the first thing you see.
first
when
thing you
come on.
see, it's at eye level.
You're in the presence of greatness the moment you walk in my house. Don't be fooled.
Yeah, there it is. And
There
then
it
there's
is.
the one that
Yeah.
that proves that I lost a Grammy. But
Yeah. You should put like a McRib on a little pedestal below it. I mean, that's what I would do. But I'm a whole nother breed here at this point with
Sure.
the McRib, right?
Sure.
So anyway, that's amazing. So you walk into your place and there's the Grammy. And how'd your parents feel?
So this is funny. So going back to the Super Bowl,
Yep.
again, this is fresh, about 2 weeks. Everybody we meet, my dad is like, my son's a Grammy winner.
That's amazing. I
Everybody
love that.
we meet. So I'm a pretty humble person most of the time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be the first one to, go out blurting that out or
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it was just so funny. He was so proud and it felt really good to show him and my mom that,
Yeah.
I think again, the trajectory is happening.
Yeah. It worked out.
So far.
Yeah, yeah,
right. I'm
yeah.
still going.
Yeah.
But it was just so funny. He would meet somebody and instead of asking them a question, be like, "Hi, I'm Steve. My son's a Grammy winner." It was
That's
just
great.
it was pretty funny. Kind of annoying, but
Yeah,
endearing,
yeah. But yeah, you got to let him have his fun with it too.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
I'm going back to Cali, styling, Lolly. You said you taking Molly. Okay, I'm taking Sally.
Now we're in Ocean Way A here, and you've cut some records here, right? You've
I've worked
on
here a
some-
couple times.
Yeah. So can you tell me about some of those projects from Ocean Way?
The session that I worked on here was with an organization called The Beat of Life.
Okay.
They're a nonprofit organization. I honestly don't know if they're still around. I haven't spoken to the founder in a while.
Yeah.
But while we were working, they were using music to help communities that sometimes are forgotten.
Oh, cool.
And so kind of using that as a therapeutic
Yeah.
tool. And the session we worked on here was taking those songs and bringing them to life. So they paired a lot of these people with top level Nashville songwriters.
Oh, wow.
And it was incredible to get to write or to get to record some of these songwriters and these people and just see how much of an impact it made on their lives.
Yeah. Did that have an impact on your life, being a part of that kind of a project?
Certainly did, yeah. I mean, you know, I love to try to give back as much as I can.
Yeah.
Music's a really easy way for me to be able to do that because it doesn't feel like work. You know,
Yeah.
I love music. I love making music. I love helping other people with their music. And so when you have an organization like that that lines up with my passion and my career, it's really easy to step up and say, yeah, I'd love to help out here.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. I will say one of the things I was most impressed with, not only is this a beautiful space and it sounds great, but I think we used Neumann U67s on everybody's guitar, on every vocal.
Because you can.
Because you can, right. When you're at a space that has 1 million of them,
Yes.
you're going to use as many U67s as you can.
That's amazing. Because, again, we got to geek out when we can, right?
We got to geek out when we can, yeah.
Well, I love this. Matt Leigh, he does Grammy work. He does projects with Heart, and he loves the McRib, even as the first timer.
I love it. When is it coming back? Do you know when it's coming back?
That's the mystery that we love. That is McRib. We never know exactly. We do seem to see that it comes about once a year.
Once a year, okay.
But it's not like the Shamrock Shake
It's
where
not
it's kind
seasonal.
of predictably right. But I did see a marketing release where they kind of said to be best enjoyed in cooler weather, which kind of hints towards fall, winter, early spring. But we're glad we were able to get you over here to McRib and me to have a little taste with us and see how it went. And I'm impressed because we got a guy who's got some KC barbecue roots. So he's still liking the McRib, and I love that. Matt?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming out.
Thanks for having me,
Where
Ron.
can people find you on Instagram, things like that? Tell them so they can give you a follow.
Yeah, so on Instagram you can find me at Matt Leigh Pro. That's MattLeighPro. And that's really the only social media that I'm on currently, so that's where you're going to have to find me. I do have a website that is kind of on the fritz at the moment, but it's there. It's mattleigh.com. So
Right on.
those are a couple spots.
Yeah. Well, I'm a fan and I'm a follower. I hope you guys will get out there and follow Matt too. And thanks. We loved hearing all these great stories. I hope you guys will enjoy them too. Matt, thanks. For McRib and me, we're out.